Tune in. Who's this?
What it do? What's good? What's poppin', y'all? It's your homie ATM.
And it's your boy O.
And we are the Lingo, baby.
Yes, sir. Very hard on the we.
Very hard on the we. Through and through. You know, crazy.
Full house.
Full house.
How y'all doing? Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, honestly, to take it all back, this all was a random high thought me and Money had to just come up and put together as like getting pizza one day. It was like, yo, we should like
we should throw a little something for past guests. Why not?
We appreciate it.
Hey y'all.
It's really
past
nice to
guest.
see y'all, yo.
Future guest.
Future guest
Who should have been a past guest 3 times by now. That's just honestly, the devil be acting strong. The damn police have to start.
He's supposed to be in Brandon season.
Yeah, he was supposed to be all the way in season 3.
Season 3, Gaza.
You know what I'm saying? Season 3 representing
season 3.
You know, smooth with the moves. You know what I'm saying?
Season 4 going guys like Siaka in the building. Y'all remember him. Of course y'all remember him. We got Birdo.
Facts.
Shooter with me.
Facts.
Kayla.
Yeah.
Facts.
Also holding down season 3, right?
Yeah.
No,
it's 4.
season 4. Episode 2, season 4.
Episode 2?
Episode 2.
Okay, episode 2.
Only person we made a music video for so far.
Really? I thought y'all were gonna. Oh,
We were supposed to continue that.
Yeah, we
y'all
were.
Why didn't y'all continue that?
We were gonna hot
Hot inside fact.
hot inside fact, business secret. That should have been a thing, but the devil be working. So what can I say? But hey, y'all got a full season out of us, and that's what I'm trying to hear.
Nice.
And then Malik in the building, soon to be guest. You know what I'm saying? We got a homie and leaving the spot. Yo, full house. We love it. We love to see it.
The whole game is here, yo. And honestly, it's like we're already kind of lit. So it's like we definitely want to have this episode like not interview based. Like definitely, I want y'all to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like very much like how y'all been? Like I'm genuinely interested.
Yeah, like I want to hear shit.
What's y'all take on music? You know what I'm saying?
Anything, like what's going on, like how y'all been?
Because I already got one from.
What's y'all hot takes on anything going on, culture-wise? What's going on?
It's a lot of things.
Man, how y'all feeling about this whole Donda certified lover boy?
Yeah.
That's the hottest thing going right now, right? Like,
oh my god.
Big move.
It's real dramatic.
So
like,
this
there was
the quote-unquote vandalism.
on brand.
Right.
Like it's on brand lacing.
No, yeah, there was the quote-unquote vandalism that happened with the signs, like, this morning or some shit. Like, Drake fans put, like, signs in front of Kanye's, like, childhood home saying, like...
His real home?
Yeah, in front of, like, the actual home.
That's what he did.
Whoa. Okay, go on. Elaborate.
Yo, you can't come on the internet on some like hella petty fake rap beef shit, giving out people's home addresses, and then be mad when people put a sign in front of your house. Like,
I didn't.
That's nice.
That's fair.
That.
He did that to Drake, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, this episode's gonna come out after the drops, right?
After what drops?
After CLB, allegedly, hopefully,
allegedly,
maybe. Allegedly.
September 3rd.
Shit, that's when we drop.
Both of them?
Yeah,
both of them
that's what we drop.
Same day. I just
niggas was waiting for us.
I feel like I peeped that this morning.
Yeah,
I'm just like
trying.
the way that Donda is leaking right now. I don't even know how the stream numbers is about to go.
It's
Wait.
What do you mean?
Wait.
He got the white people by their throat. They love that nigga.
Nah.
He's gonna get all the streams, all the money. I mean,
it's
just like
honestly, bro, the stem player. I thought it was weird at first, and then I kept seeing videos of how it works.
So cool.
And I said, honestly, that's a smart ass move.
He's on his like shit.
Is that like?
Yeah, I know he ain't.
I feel like I've seen something.
Yeah.
But like, he's like introducing it
like
at this time, like that shit, that ass, because it's like giving people like the chance to like actually like deal with music like how they want to, and then like it's giving like more like room for like creative expression and shit, especially like in a time where like people think that like artistic creativity is like more important than like capitalism and like working to die type shit.
Working to die, got it. But I mean, okay, hold on. I want to go around the room. And we all going to stand on this because it's giving us time. First week numbers, streams. Who y'all got? I'm going to go around the room. Starting with Malik.
gonna say Drake in terms of just numbers.
Okay, CLB. I'm for CLB. Kayla.
I think Kanye.
Kanye. Donda.
Drake. I genuinely think
2-1.
I generally think Kanye.
Yeah.
You tied up.
I agree.
2-3.
He marketed that too well.
I'm trying to not be biased and say yay, but like I feel like Drake's been too quiet, so he's going to be
like
numbers might go
if they drop the same day. Are we talking about the same day or
they're dropping the same day? So like in a week, both their numbers will come out.
Right.
So like since he's been so quiet this whole time, I might have to give that to Drake this time.
So it's 3 up. 3-4.
Oh.
I feel like they're not taking that nigga Drake seriously no more.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Yo, okay, maybe.
Before you mention, go ahead.
Maybe I'm biased. Sorry.
What you said?
I get what you're saying, but people are saying listen to Drake.
Yeah, I'm not saying that niggas aren't gonna want to listen to Drake. I'm just saying that like I don't think niggas is taking Drake as seriously as like the amount of memes like we saying about Drake and shit. Like I don't know, maybe that's like added publicity, but I feel like in terms of like streaming and like in terms of like I don't know. I feel like Kanye, I feel like just this nigga didn't even release this shit and he's packing stadiums and shit. Like that's numbers by itself. Like
what do we say? He's going
Exactly. Like,
exactly.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
The Kanye album.
But at this point with Kanye, like I'm starting to learn, it's no longer about music. This nigga is fully a performance artist / fashion mogul. Like he's not even on some rap shit, and the shit that he's doing, I feel like we respond to it as a rap consumers the way we do because we expecting him to be a rapper doing rapper shit, but he's not. He's a conceptual artist doing conceptual art.
That nigga's a whole producer. He just creates shit. Like I just view Kanye as a creator, and like. That nigga just be making shit. Like, he literally just make whatever comes to his fucking head. And, like, fuck it if you don't like it. I don't know, like, I don't want them slides, but, like...
Nah, them crosses stay fire.
See, exactly. Somebody's gonna fuck with it. Like... I don't know.
The wedding, the big wedding shit, like, he, like, put himself on fire type shit. Like, that's...
To be honest, I never expect nothing less. Because I remember I had the opportunity to go to season 3 of his fashion show where he first released The Life of Pablo as a listening party, right, in Madison Square Garden. And just being like a part of that situation and seeing how he kind of reflects his art in a way in which is kind of like, as we already make, without being redundant, so like innovative in the way in which he did it. Like the way he kind of brought out a lot of artists that was like new. Like I remember Yachty was actually on that stage that time. Ian Connor was on that stage.
Ew, fuck that nigga.
Young Thug, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Politics and shit. But,
politics? Fuck that nigga. What you mean?
You know what I mean? But like, it was just crazy how he's able to do it. And it's like he kind of just, I guess we say, does what he wants. So like when I see him put a house on the stage or put himself on fire, you know what I mean, or wear a mask to every single show and not show his face, you know what I mean? Like I really don't expect nothing less when I see Kanye West at this point, especially now at this point in time. I remember even at that same show, he released a video game for his mother.
I remember that shit.
Like he just be doing shit to do shit, and I feel like that's the whole point of artistry. Like you just do shit, you just create shit, like you just make shit, you just put shit into the world, and it's just like I feel like nowadays like art is so like commodified and like commercialized, and it's like it loses essence of just like creativity and like imagination, and I feel like Kanye really taps into that shit. Like that nigga be dealing with his own shit. Like, he be bipolar and shit. Like, he be going through his own shit. And it's just like, that nigga is still creating shit. He's still being vulnerable enough to put art into the world. Even though niggas be on his ass. Like,
I don't like the fact he took off Jay-Z, apparently, though.
Yeah, replaced him with the baby.
And Cudi.
I think that's just marketing of it to get us to talk about that shit on social media. When the full album comes, I'm sure everybody will be there.
Yeah, right? In some way.
But like, it's not the final.
He cut Cudi off what?
Wait, so apparently, like, at the Chicago listening party, he aired a whole album version of it, but like, the songs that had Ye on it, it's like The Baby and like Charles Manson and like Marilyn Manson. Charles Manson.
Charles Manson. That's
it's still terrible. That ass. Yeah. Same abusive ass nigga. Okay.
And then I think they like extended like Lauryn Hill's part on the album. Okay. I've yet to hear any of this shit.
I just was on the album.
I haven't heard none of this shit either.
Who?
But it's just like Y'all are so good.
I'm not.
How about the year?
To this Jamaican woman, bro.
Can you imagine Kanye performing with Shantia? That shit.
But that's crazy. But I heard her on it. Like, no, I heard the vocals on it. I was like, wow, her vocals sound really nice on this. And I was like, this production is very beautiful. But I was like, where the fuck did that come from?
And it's like, I feel like the thing with like Kanye, like this is the same Kanye that dropped like 2-3 versions of The Life of Pablo. Like, you don't know what the end, like you don't know what the end result is gonna be like. So that's gotta wait.
He fucked that one up too.
He did.
Yeah, there was a lot. He did. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, because
Life of Pablo changed after it came out too.
Yeah.
I remember like Wolves had like
Frank on it,
like 3 or 4 different versions of it. I'm like, what the hell, like.
Yeah, the old ones were way better than when he dropped.
When he first dropped that shit, I had to download that shit. I was like, yes. I was like, yes.
I'm gonna give it to you. In a weird way, like I feel like he has that like big star status on Drake. I feel like he's the only person that can really like go toe to toe with him. I feel like this is getting ridiculous though. Like,
it is like
for sure.
Remember, he's going on tour prior to the album dropping. I'm just like, what's going on?
The tour before the album dropping is honestly that not supposed to be the new wave.
Who's doing that?
That's basically
pretty much.
Yeah, that's
like
what
2-3 listening parties now. Like he's probably
it's
doing
just
another
like
one.
imagine making like listening parties public. Like niggas don't be doing that shit. Like he's really like involving the public in his shit. Like I don't know.
I feel like he bases art on breaking the algorithm. You know, and I feel like everything he tries to do is supposed to be like some type of representation of being like this way of breaking away from the social norm of whatever it is that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's creating video games for whatever it is.
He do be taxing them.
I still want that video.
I feel like that's just for the white people. Like he just keeps milking them.
I think that's I think the point is to make you think like what the fuck, like always. You know, like always, like with the Gap clothes for example, it's just like what the fuck, like this shit looks like garbage bags, like type shit. But it's like people want it.
Crazy on that.
People want it.
So like the stock went up on that. Like,
people want it.
Stocks went crazy. I think
it's funny.
Gap knew what the fuck they was doing.
But Gap got good quality shit.
Gap got the quietest shit.
I'm not standing Gap, but it's just like, you know, I like their jeans and shit. Their tank tops are nice. If I need a hoodie or some shit, like
that Yeezy puffer is kind of like wild ugly though. Like, why do you?
I think it's warm. I think it's gonna be warm.
I don't know. I haven't seen that shit.
I think it's comfortable.
I don't think it's gonna be warm because there's so much space between your skin and the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Like, shit's a fortress, bro. Shitting me?
Oh.
I don't know at all. Honestly, like I would love to talk to y'all more about like local shit. Like I've been listening to a lot more people from like where y'all from the city in general.
I mean,
well, listen. A lot of y'all make music in here too, so don't even. I listen to myself. So you can say that, shouldn't me?
I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna listen to myself. I listen to a lot of different artists from all over the place, but I'm really fucking with the whole like Bronx drill.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I feel like that's something we have to address right now.
Yeah, man, you gotta just be love, like
all those other cats out there, even like Be Love and all those other dudes, like they're really like stirring it up. And people are even talking about on like Instagram, like the NYC, like what's the Sounds of NYC's page, like
what NYC sounds like.
What city is taking over?
I have brought that up like twice.
For the city in terms of the scene, they're really trying to jack the Bronx. So you know what I'm saying? It's just like of course, bro.
I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that.
But you need that.
Drill. Yeah. But like that's just like New York is always gonna win. You know what I'm saying? That kind of just gave me that vibe at the end of the day. If you want to look at a bigger picture, like the whole new wave of what drill is starting to sound like from over there is starting to be nice. But then again, it's like you gotta listen to artists from Brooklyn that also sound like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people give them credit for that, but this dude's like City Black. You know what I'm saying? Has that same sound, same flow, same vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not getting necessarily the same type of play it would be compared to other drill rappers. It's probably because of politics, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But like, you still gotta take a knowledge of that's going on.
I feel like it's hard to differentiate yourself in that scene when then like all those drums like they kind of sound the same, like the drops, like the producer really gotta be the one to stand out to make like the artist look really good.
then again, I don't know, because you could have the same drill beat and then have a melodic drill rapper on it, and then you could have one of those real rippy rap, drill rap niggas on it. Rippy rap. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot of different lanes you can use for drill, and people are starting to exploit that. Cause you know what I'm saying? You can't compare Pop Smoke to Stunna Gambino.
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying? You can't. Like it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Even and like you can't compare like certain other cats to like even like Jay Wabo and all those East New York cats that came out like coming out with their drill wave, like R.I.P. KJ Bull, like you know what I mean, cats like that. So it's like just the whole entire drill scene, looking at it from like the perspective of just like New York as a whole, and just seeing. I just want to know whether or not that's going to translate over to mainstream the same way Pop was, because he was the only one that was really able to talk the way he talks. From Brooklyn, representing what he represented, coming over and actually going mainstream to where the whole world will want to say what he wants to say. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's not the first artist to be doing that out of Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But he was the one who popped out of Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's just something that we got to kind of take a note of when we look at these drill artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was like, listen, man, like if you could make music to go feed your family, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Listen, go make your money. You understand? Like, we want to see everybody out of New York go do what they got to do. But I'm just curious who's really going to be the one to like pop do it in New York. You know what I'm saying? Right after all this, because A Boogie out here, and you got Capella Gray. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of cats out of New York out here going crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like,
that's funny. I don't even know about like the drill scene like that. I think it's interesting that like you have so much information on what you just spoke about. I don't know most of the artists you just spoke about. Yeah. I was never thinking about Bronx drill. Didn't even know it was a popping thing right now. You know what I mean? Like I just.
It's up to the Bronx. I guess.
Exactly.
But that's the funny thing about music right there.
Nah, like I just got into like Stunna Gambino, and I didn't even know this was drill.
You know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily a drill artist. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that's considered like trap. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really know where that line diverges or where it blurs necessarily. But like you know what I'm saying? Like him, like you got your Jay Guabos from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? From that East New York scene and stuff like that. Like those are artists that also have that kind of sound. You know what I'm saying? But they're really on those like 808 mellow kind of vibe beats. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily the same like real samples and and then you drop your your 808s all throughout the song type shit. You know what I mean? So like that's where like it differentiates in that regard. So like when you look at artists like that, it's just like with drill, it's like it's something so new that could be explored. We don't really know what the ceiling is. Like I feel like in New York we have like a bad habit of trying to put a ceiling on everything we trying to do in terms of new shit, because we have such a foundation of what this hip hop shit is. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, like with drill, like we really got some new shit that's really hot. That could really be something into the mainstream shit to give somebody, something to feed their families off of, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. So it's just like, I'm fucking with it. You know what I'm saying?
I say all that to say
I want to say this one thing about the drill scene though, like I just want to see artists be able to do a lot more. They could talk y'all drill shit, but you know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to politic on how niggas do their music, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I feel like we could go a little bit without, always dissing the ops. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, when it comes to that type of shit, real shit though, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, we all from the same shit, you know what I'm saying? I can talk my shit. So it's like, boom, like when you come over here and you want to talk your shit about all the other ops and shit, and you want to get your shit mainstream, like listen, Pop Smoke did it, cool. You know what I'm saying? You open that lane for niggas, okay, cool, whatever. But there's a lot of other niggas that weren't able to do that. You know what I'm saying? There's always opportunities to exploit. We talk whatever you got to go talk over without, all the same necessarily drops of like names and or ops that you have in particular of a gang. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to BMG Upper Class. You know what I'm saying? Because he out here trying to do a challenge, trying to do artists to do like like a verse or whatever, get a free music video, whatever, cool, without dissing the ops. Like you have to create a verse and you don't just no op dissing. You gotta really rap. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Songs are more for the ops than themselves nowadays, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, like we heard about that. Like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? I forgot. Like that's how true it is out here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, okay, you spun. And now what? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's mad funny. But type shit is just something that we could definitely be looking forward to in terms of that scene because there's so much to be expanded on. But it's like we have to acknowledge the fact that like there is other ways that we could approach it still. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're still stuck in this little time loop of what drill's supposed to sound like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you could take a drill beat and you could talk some drill, but you could do some shit. Like you could tweak your vocals. You can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like just take into the fact that this is still an artistry that comes along to the craft. You know, and
I'm really waiting for Rowdy and them to drop. Like honestly, I'd love to see what like their timing is on in terms of like how they see this like sound and like what they do with it. Because I feel like y'all were kind of pioneering the wave until like, you know.
I feel like they're the connoisseurs of this shit. Like,
exactly. Exactly, and like they don't really talk much. I feel like I don't really hear from them much.
No, yeah.
I mean, I felt like Rowdy came out and he was. I ain't gonna lie, Rowdy came out of jail and he was on bullshit. He was like, "Yo, I'm dropping Nav.
Yeah,
dropping everybody. I'm gonna fuck." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna put on because my other mates are still in jail. And when he come out, we gotta make sure that there's not, you know, his GS9 shit is still popping by the time he get out. In terms of the actual rap scene, like, you know what I'm saying? Because yeah, we were missed and all that, but when you don't drop a product, especially if both of them didn't drop a product at that time. In terms of music, it would have been like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been waiting for y'all for like 7 years. You know what I'm saying? As consumers, you know what I'm saying? That's how we're going to think of it as consumers. As people, we're going to be like, we understand. Y'all niggas probably was locked from that long. Y'all got your own lives. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But as consumers, you know, from that perspective.
I don't even think that's a difference.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, between, like, consumer and, like, person, I feel like we live in such a capitalist-ass society that, like, we be, like, conditioned to be consumers. Like, we consume a lot. Like, we consume media, we consume,
it's mad music.
Information. Yeah. Exactly. And so it's just, like, I don't think that, like, I feel like a lot of the times, like, people lose the essence of, like, humanity and, like, compassion and shit because it's, like, they're so, like, entranced in this world of just, like, consuming shit. And, like, it's just fucking weird. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, for sure. Nah, you got hit right on the nose, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nah, I'm like overall just, I don't know, man. I always go back to the thought, and I like wish Des was here, but shout out to Des, like, because most of our conversation was about it. Like, yo, at the end of the day, like, true word, I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of drill artists out. There's a lot of artists out from New York City. Like, following that page, what NYC sounds like, really made me sit there and be like, wow, there is mad dudes out that I never heard of. And then, but my thing is like, 3/4 of them low-key, like, sound somewhat, not even sound somewhat similar, because everybody got a very distinct voice. It's very much rapping about the same thing. So my thing is, like, I'm also excited. I'm excited to see where drill goes and how it can morph, but I'm also excited to see if the city is open to adopting a new sound. Or a sound next to drill, you know? Because I feel like that's what we have. Like, cool, like, you know, like, drill is the thing. Like, it's New York drill, it's Brooklyn drill. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's the sound. Like, that's the formula, like, the cherry on top of the formula for what you really need to get popping with this city behind you right now. So I'm excited to see if the city chooses to adopt a certain sound after this. Like, you know, like, yeah, you got Capella, who, like, people put in some realm similar to A Boogie, which I'm like, that's kind of, I don't really,
He's just exposing, like, sunken shit to, like, mainstream niggas. Like.
Nah, and it's, like, it's very city, though. And low-key, and that's why, like, that's why I can rock with it. Like, I'll listen to it, and the lingo of it, no pun intended. It's, like, very city. It's, you know, dub, slide, chill. Like, it's just, like, everything in it, so it's very, like, you know, so, like, I'll sit there and I'll be like, this is very, like, this feels very much like home. Like, it feels like I'm sitting in a studio with one of my mans, like, he's making this song. Like, it sounds very home, and I like that. And so, like, that sound is coming in, and I guess it's being marketed as, like, R&B with, like, how he's being pushed into the market. So there's that, but I'm just, like, I don't know, like, I kind of see, I'm, like, excited to see where the city sound goes from here on. Because we've had so, like, and that's, like, I don't know, we've had so many great eras of so many things in this city, of, like, music, of, like, dance kind of music, of, like, mad stuff.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like we gotta think about, like, what niggas really be like. Sorry, I kicked my cup under this shit. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, like, the city is so fucking, like, big and shit. Like, if you really pay attention to the people making music, like, you don't have to just focus in on, like, drill and shit. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I, like, connect with, like, other people that, like, make music just like me type shit. And it's just, like, that sort of, like, communication. It's just, like, I don't know that many people that make music just like me, but it's just like the same, like when you hit that like niche like genre type shit, like it's easy to connect with people. And I feel like, I don't know, New York is just not that type of like community building type. I feel like no, like these niggas that ass be like, fuck you, like
it's an expectation based place.
Yeah, that ass they're like, oh, you don't have plays, like fuck you, like
no, that's not it. So I'm gonna just treat you the way
that ass,
and I would treat you other if it was different. So you know, and that's
exactly. And it's just like I feel like there's so many sounds, but it's just like it's based off that shit. Like, oh, you don't sound like Pop Smoke. Oh, you don't sound like this other bitch from New York. Oh, you don't sound like whatever. And it's just like you don't sound like Abby Jasmine, like you don't sound like this, like it's just like conscious. Exactly, but it's just like we're conditioned to do that because it's like I feel like social media like creates like this contrived identity of like what New York culture is, and it's like niggas hitting the woo walk and like Big Black Puffer event and like all this like other shit, but it's just like there's so much like depth that like goes into this like city, you feel me? And it's just like there's so many sounds that can like erupt from it, and it's just like we just have to pay attention to the shit that like people are doing, like I don't know. I just feel like there's so, like even like you make shit that's different, like your shit be hitting. Like I'm just like I'm just like, bro, like what the fuck? Like there's so many like good things that can like erupt from the city. People just like pay attention.
Back with a lot more niggas. Jesus Christ.
No, yeah. This kind of went from
y'all gonna have to project your voice.
Yeah, no, because I don't know. Everybody on the outskirts, y'all really gonna have to. Yeah. Speak up.
Y'all quiet niggas too.
Yeah, you two especially. That was actually bad seated.
I should have been right under the mic.
Hey, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Because I'm right next to him. I barely heard it.
We got Keelan in the building.
You know what I'm saying? We got Keelan in the building. Season 4, episode 4. I remember it was the 4-4 episode. We got Savon in the building. Season 4, part 2, episode.
I want to say 3.
Let me fact check you. Hold on. So 2. Close.
We got a lot of content, y'all. Alright, we got a lot of content. Size episode 2.
Yes. We got Judah in the building.
You know what I'm saying? Except Drew.
You know what I'm saying? Season 4, part 2. Episode 4.
Yeah, you got them sauce now, nigga.
We got Siak in the building.
Everybody's here.
Yeah. Yo, Siaka, man. Season 4, part 2, episode 1. Yeah, you kicked off that part for us. Great content. It fried everybody. So, anyway. Alright, y'all. Going into the second half of this episode, I mean, we're in a room with a bunch of city heads.
We damn near touching all 5 boroughs.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think so.
You think so? We're getting the vast majority of the ones that matter.
We got 2. Huh? 2.5.
2.5?
2.5 boroughs.
Who's the majority right now?
We got 2.5 boroughs, bro. We got
what's the census?
Brooklyn, please raise your hands.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, vast majority. I'm gonna stop counting.
Harlem. On a lonely island.
I'm from Nito, so
okay,
Harlem world. Both hands up.
Alright, cool.
I have to.
And then
biracial.
I got dual citizenship.
You know what I'm saying? And then the 0.5 for my queens. So it's really that's not vast majority because we don't got
that's 3 out of 5.
2.5.
Hold on, some queens.
Well, I mean, I know you queens, but like
I'm 0.5 queens, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like a Nick, like I can't.
They be jacking Brooklyn.
You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
I'm jacking Brooklyn. Everybody let me jack on jacking Brooklyn.
As you should. Like
one mic, we got practice.
I don't see the issue with that.
You don't see the issue at all, me either. Because we all family here. Alright.
They got you? Alright, boom. So being that the vast majority of us is from the city, I feel like it makes most sense to just got a conversation of like best city shit, greatest of all time when it comes to your borough or your hood and specifically, or you know, just we'll go through a series of like greatest of things. But you know, since we always start on music and there is a vast majority of Brooklyn in here, I want to see if it's a consensus or not. Who y'all think is the greatest of all time to come out of Brooklyn? We could go, and we could go. We gotta go one mic. So
that's a lot.
The questions that matter. One mic, girl.
We're gonna have to go around the room. I'm sorry, Harlem.
Brooklyn or New York? Like Brooklyn? Like
not even.
Okay, I got that. That's fine.
You know, got too much, but we do gotta go through the room. Okay. We'll start on that end. Siaka.
I thought I was going first.
Wait, so just to be clear, so best out of the borough you're from, or the best out of the city?
No, the best out of your borough, and if you know specifically they're from your hood, that's even better.
Okay.
Oh damn! From your borough.
Why we
from your borough.
No. We not leaving out Harlem. We coming all the way around, and we gonna go through everybody's borough.
Okay.
We're gonna go through everybody's borough.
As somebody, you know, from uptown, and when it comes to rap, first of all, like, I just have to say, of course, just because of like contemporary times too, like I can't not say Jada. But the thing is, it's.
But are you from Yonkers?
I'm from Harlem.
That's
immediately breaks the rule.
From Harlem,
Yonkers.
Jada is Harlem because he's the locks.
Fair.
And he's there anyway. Like, you feel me? Like, it's just there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's still uptown.
I guess. I mean, but
we got a cap in the building.
Yeah, because I'm like, didn't the lock just get the key to Yonkers?
They got the key to Yonkers.
I mean,
because if they was really Harlem, they would have got the key to Harlem.
It doesn't matter.
How?
It doesn't matter.
I thought Dipset was.
Why doesn't it matter?
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you were there, it was part of history.
If I was there,
you feel me?
Fair.
Jadakiss at the end of the day represented what? It was Lox against Dipset, right? But it was really mostly Jada against Dipset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm still not seeing your point. Because Jadakiss is not from Harlem.
Let's argue.
Technically, you right.
But you know what I'm saying? So how you going?
You want to know why? Because being.
But I get it. But you making it more complicated than it needs to be.
But it's uptown though. Still.
Can I get a vote?
Harlem niggas is so.
Can I get a vote?
Like they're just so
coming
different.
From Washington Heights.
Right.
Coming from Washington Heights.
Right.
When it comes to those rappers, we was talking about either battle rappers, niggas like Jada, who was in Harlem anyway. Dipset, of course, because that was the whole thing, and the Lox. Like, it could be Harlem, but it's Harlem, Washington Heights, Uptown, Dykeman, Yonkers, like that.
They're from the Yonkers.
Thank you.
I
get your point. Like the whole point of cool. They was like really doing it for Harlem niggas makes sense, but it's really not like hitting the nail on. They from.
We gonna have to pass on. We're gonna come back around.
We're gonna come back. Go ahead.
That's what he said. Honestly, like, I wouldn't be able
Ain't no reason. Why not?
I feel like for me, like, it was just growing up, like, the most influential Brooklyn rapper that I could think of is Bobby Shmurda. Okay. You feel me? Just because I remember, like, it's just like the experience of like what he went through. Like, I remember when he was at like 500 views on YouTube. My bro, shout out Taj, if you ever listens to this, he was like, "Yo, bro, this some dude from my hood. Listen to this." And we listened to the album for the first time. Like, that shit was like fire. So it's like senior year, field day, high school, shit bumping, and then I heard it on the radio for the first time, and then that was a memory. Like, oh shit, like this shit is on the radio. Then I get to college, and then at my first college party, it's like you hear it there, and then it's like, alright, like this is like spread for real, like, and then just the star power, the staying power that he had, like while he was in jail, type shit. You know, like I feel like to be able to do it for that long and still be relevant, it means that you make some kind of impact. You know,
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that vote.
I like that. That was a good justified reason.
Chef Jew.
Oh man, I don't want to say this to sound kind of like corny, but it gotta be whole.
Thank you. I was waiting for it to come around.
You know, the fact that you touched Bobby Shmurda, we touched Jada Kiss, somebody said whole, y'all crazy. And like, Hov wasn't an artist that I was really like into, you know, but I think as I got older and I started to like tune more into like you know the things I really like, Hov go crazy.
Absolutely.
Hov go crazy. And just beyond like rapping, like just like the things that he's doing now, you know. Yeah. Icon, mogul,
capital,
the best,
billionaire,
right? Billionaire, black man too.
Triple B.
Triple B. Always from Mississippi, bro. That's the trenches. That's the trenches.
Smooth. Who you got?
You repainted. Why would you do that?
Alright, I'm not even gonna get.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Because
that's still my goal.
We get there.
A repainted Basquiat. Go crazy. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess like it's always fair to say Hov. You know what I'm saying? But I'll give it to Biggie today. You know what I'm saying? I'll say Biggie.
Okay.
And I'll give it off for him because of just off the simple fact that if we're gonna say Hov got his start off of Biggie. You know what I'm saying? So like it's the fact that he set that standard for our city early in the game. Let alone that, there's no other artist that can stir an entire side of the coast to go against another side of the coast. You know what I'm saying? Like let's not forget what this East Coast West Coast beef shit was back then and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And the only nigga that was able to really be the culprit and the high face of that whole situation was Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that you get a whole coast of the nation to go against another coast of the nation and be on some fuck you shit, like that's heavy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that should like go into his catalog of why he should be a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way you impact people. You know what I'm saying? The fact that, you know, Hov was able to convey some of his flows off of the fact of Biggie's rhyme scheme. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that, you know what I mean? So it's like when it comes to like setting standard of what it is, like, you know, Biggie has some funny bars and shit. You know, some funny shit sometimes you heard. Well, like, but that's that man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't discredit for what he did for what this culture was in New York City itself, let alone hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know we the mecca of this hip hop shit. So it's like when it comes to really naming who's this Mount Rushmore of this New York rap shit, like I feel like it's only fair when you put him into that conversation.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Of course, you gotta big up Biggie himself. Honestly, I was gonna go that whole route of like the GOATs, you know, the whole Biggie. I really like Birdos because it was very like, you know, close to like.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm gonna give it to Joey. I'm gonna give it to Joey.
Okay. All right, bro. That's not my answer, but I was dead ass thinking that. I was like, sure. Before he got like, commercialized, yeah.
Facts. Like, definitely have like, that closeness to him, feel me? Like, you know, 1999, Summer Nights, like, when he did Before the Money tour in the city, like, me and him dabbing him up, like, yo, like, that was like a huge, like, moment for me personally. So it's like, of course, like, you're up and coming to be one of those guys, you know, from the hood, but I just, you know what I'm saying? He did for me growing up, for sure. Thanks.
Heard you and all that. I'm still go Jay-Z.
I mean, we already got the Jay-Z. We got the B on the two.
The question was like the best rapper from Brooklyn. Like, I don't think that shit's arguable. From the test of time, from like even now, Jay's on the feature. We all tune into that shit. It don't matter who the lead artist is.
It don't matter.
So having that relevance like 25 years later is just no one else has done that shit yet. So you really can't like argue against it, I feel like.
Okay, so initially I was gonna say Flatbush Zombies, but that's a group of niggas, so I'm not even gonna cop out like that. But like that niggas is fire. Like they really do some like
a very unique answer, and I would have loved
that. But I think I'm gonna just go Capital Steez, cause like just the same Joey route, like that pro era shit in Flatbush, that shit like yo, bro, like when I was 13, I was dead ass just listening to that shit. And like I remember like that nigga dying and that shit, like I don't know what that shit did to me, but like it was just crazy because it's just like that's one of my faves, and like he can't even make music no more. Like that shit's crazy. But if you listen to all his shit, like America KKK, like that nigga was talking some real ass shit, bro. Like he was dead ass saying some shit, and it's just like I feel like it's just like so like Brooklyn and like so niche. Like you don't be hearing like niggas be playing like randomly like Capital C's and shit. Like like 100%. If you play that shit, like I'm dead ass gonna be like okay, like I fuck with you dead ass because it's just like niggas don't be playing that nigga no more, and it's just like. that nigga aged so well. Like, any verse that nigga was in, he ate you the fuck up. Like, lyricism on 100. Like, that nigga was just spinning that real shit. So I'm just like, yeah.
Yo, free the robots, bro.
Yo, like, fuck all the industry plants and shit. Like, that nigga was going crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to go 3 for 3 for Jay-Z. I don't know. I guess for me, but I'll do it in the same route and same respect that y'all would give it to like Joey and Bobby. Like, I feel like I grew up with a lot of early 2000s, like late 90s hip hop because of my brothers. So because of that, everything was just like older. So like, I was heavily listening to Reasonable Doubt and the Black Album and the Blueprint, and like, so most of that was in my rotation coming up. So then like coming up, I was like, this nigga's really rapping about some real shit, like some real shit, and I was like, word. And so I would give it to that. For my 0.5, you know, on the other side,
Queens
I'll give it a top 3 that I feel like I give them all the same respect through and through. I'll give it Mobb Deep, 50 Cent, and Nicki Minaj. Through and through. Because, you know, you can't just not give Nicki her respect off.
Give that bitch her flowers.
You know what I'm saying?
Every time. Listen, man. No.
I just had to ask.
Yes, bro. Like, she had bitches making Chinese bangs, undercut his paint. Like,
what?
Yes,
she had the girls going crazy. The bars were wild.
The itty bitty piggy. Y'all love that.
Hello. I found that shit on my friend's iPod. I was like, what are you doing listening to this shit, bro? Like,
but I mean, off the respect of like, I lived like 10 blocks, not even like, I lived like 6 blocks away from Queensburg. So I had to give it to Mobb Deep over Nas, personally. I would. Just off like Nas's history, Nas's career got it more like longevity wise, of course, like you know, R.I.P. Yeah. But with Mobb Deep, like, I don't know, it's just the flow, the smoothness, Nas's production was for a lot of his career. You kind of sit there, like, you really have to sit through those beats, like if you really wanted to hear Nas. It wasn't too light on the ears.
Nah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
So, Hit Boy definitely held them down with these last
you know what I'm saying?
albums. You know what I'm saying?
For y'all uptown, for y'all uptown niggas though, I gotta give it to Big O, and I'll just leave that one to Harlem because
that was the next part of my statement before I fell off the road.
before you got kicked off the island, bro, like that ass.
I'm just saying, like,
what's up, Keelan? What's up, man? Who you?
Alright, so originally I was gonna go with Biggie, of course, Brooklyn. That's, you know, that was before my time. I got into him late, so I gotta bring up my boy Pop Smoke. I have to, since it came to a point where we're just talking about people who had like a movement and not necessarily like the GOATs, because Pop is obviously not one of the best in Brooklyn, but the way he came into the game,
obviously not.
Well, I mean, like
GOAT level, like
yeah. Because unfortunately, he wasn't around long enough.
I could debate. I feel like that's an argument.
Like, I could feel like
I feel like that could be.
Like, he just got his point.
Yeah, right.
I'm just talking.
You're like, okay. Nah, I got him. We good. I got him.
Can you squash the beef?
I got him. We good. We on the same page. We will all advocate for him. He just didn't want to be on the loser side of that. Go ahead. My fault. I'm sorry to go ahead.
So yeah, it's just the way Pop Smoke really came up. Because I remember I was just sitting on the steps on my block, and my bro was like, "Yo, you gotta listen to this new shit. Comes some nigga named Pop Smoke. He live in the hood." I'm like, "All right, let me, bump it." Here he's playing like Money, Power, Respect. Meet the Woo, of course. Welcome to the Party.
Right.
And it's the way his voice was so beautiful, and I love New York, and I'm so happy I'm from this fucking city. So anytime Pop Smoke comes on in a party before he passed, it was beautiful. After, it's just even crazier. I hate what they did with their last 2 albums. Not gonna lie, but there's some bangers on there. I'm tired of people sleeping on it.
She was not worth it.
All of them.
All of them.
Come on, say one. Nah, come on, say one.
Exactly.
We can talk about that. We can talk about that.
Shit is nothing violence. Like, let that nigga rest in peace.
Oh my god. We need a pick from Harlem. Who would bring it from Harlem right to the cookout?
I mean, because I grew up in Harlem and stuff like that, I'm gonna go with ASAP. ASAP Rocky.
I knew it was coming. I knew it
Nah, I mean, like, I was growing up, I was like, damn, I need something to listen to. Purple Swag came out. I'm just like,
I understand you very
I mean, like, the music I used to listen to was like, you know, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott. So I was like, okay, you know, ASAP came on the scene, Purple Swag came out. I was like, it was fire. Goldie came out. I was like, it was heat. Long Live ASAP. Like, I'm just like, yeah, come on. Like, and then what he did for fashion, that's why I was like, yeah.
Right. He's the most iconic Harlem rapper, hip-hop person in the last 10, 15 years.
That's
unarguably.
Arguably. Because Cameron still exists.
I said in the last 10, 15 years, who came out.
I mean, with the pinky, I was saying.
That was so funny. Cameron. What year is this actually?
What?
He's classic Harlem history.
We in like 2 decades into this bitch.
Been Trill in a while.
Been Trill.